Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for February 9th through 16th, 2026. Wow, well, we're feeling really intense energy as we come into our first eclipse. It's a solar eclipse, Aquarius new moon solar eclipse that happens on February 17th. And we're really feeling the energy. The other thing that's making it so weird is that Mercury has now moved over as of the 7th into Pisces. And so it starts a long journey of Mercury in retrograde in Pisces. Now, this is such a juxtaposition of what we're feeling in the backdrop of things, of the main energy with Saturn and Neptune coming into conjunction. Now, Neptune has made it into Aries as of January 27th, and Saturn will move into Aries on the 15th this week. Now, we've gotten the message that Saturn is time, laws, rules, reality. Going over the Aries point in the zodiac is a rebirth of time, laws, rules, and reality, which exactly fits the energy of moving into the Aquarian age. Everything in the astrology is lining up to the extent that we can no longer ignore what's going on. Not that we know what's going on. We'll see what we can figure out, But it's been so weird for so long, right? It's like, are we living in a movie? Is this the Truman Show? Like, what, Groundhog Day? What is going on with our fake news and fake people and very strange reality? And then it comes to a point where it's just too weird. You have to talk about it. Now we're coming to a point in the astrology where it is just too precise and perfect to not just talk about it, but embody it. The time is now. The instructions are clear. Of course, still, there's so much unclarity, but this is what we're going to kind of be working out with this Mercury retrograde in Pisces. It's really powerful that we've got this whole last year, the drama of Saturn and Neptune. So Saturn, our laws, rules, reality. Neptune, dreams, visions, possibility, but also delusions. This is the problem with the Piscean age, is the spiritual energies can be used to delude and mislead people. And so Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. And it's the going back into the oneness, into the raw materials, dissolving, and to be reborn into Aries. And so the Piscean age, with Neptune as a ruler, it's about the dreams and possibilities, but the control forces of the Piscean age used that energy of spiritual, mystical revelation that goes along with Pisces. They used that energy to control humanity through structured religion and organizations and fear, So I think that's a really important thing to understand right now. It might be Mother's most important message for us, is that the fear is fake. It's a program. Just imagine that humans, the form, our consciousness, it's not actually a part of who we really are. We have discrimination, the power of discrimination. And the fear and anxiety that is so blooming in the world right now, we have to understand, is in itself a reptilian program, non-human. We must reject this and overcome. Everything right now is about overcoming. So overcoming fear. So the powerful energy that is just going on in this culmination, this lining up. We've just had this epic journey of our personal planets all coming together and going through all this stuff. I mean, literally since the beginning of September, we started feeling that Jupiter square Chiron, and it was just tension. And our personal planets then came into square with Saturn and Neptune, and then into the Jupiter square Chiron. And now our personal planets are squaring up with Uranus. They're in Aquarius, moving into Pisces. So Mercury was the first one to square up with Uranus. Now this is the whole month of February, the whole energy of February. Our personal planets at this part of the journey. So in Aquarius, they've just met up with Pluto, getting the revelation, the activation of the visionary leaders of the Aquarian age, right? Like, what is our role? What are we doing? Our marching orders, like the initiation. And then into a square with Uranus. So it's almost like going up and making it to the top of the mountain, meeting Pluto. And this was about seeing how powerful we really are, understanding what's within us, that there is no authority outside of ourselves, that we need to ask permission to live our life and be comfortable and happy and do what we're here to do, right? This is, so the crux of the whole problem of where we're at, moving into the golden age, that's possible for us because we're balancing the Aquarian age of the past, which happened during Atlantean catastrophes, the misuse of technology. All that technology that was misused was originally there, like in Lemurian time, we had advanced technology, but always in alignment with humanity, with Mother. We're a part of her, you know? And so the new Aquarian age is about balancing the scales of Atlantean time. And we have to take back those technologies only to be used in alignment with Mother Earth. And so this is the great correction that we're in right now. For us personally, our personal planets right now, it's saying, okay, what if you've been kind of groveling around in the dirt, like, you know, living like a beggar in this world when you're so spiritually abundant? And what if the only thing that's keeping us from moving into the Aquarian age, moving into the energy, the new timeline, and all of humanity, but for us specifically, SuperNova souls, it's about feeling worthy. This is the Taurus, Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is higher frequency vibrations, the ruler of Aquarius, right? So our personal planets in Aquarius in square to the ruler of Aquarius at the very end degrees of Taurus. And Taurus is about self-worth, about havingness, about feeling worthy and knowing you deserve. And this is the dark mark in SuperNova psyche that doesn't make any sense, you know? But Saturn there at the end degrees of Pisces, man. Whew. Saturn just made it to 29 degrees as of February 5th. So sitting right there. Also approaching Neptune. And yet they're in separate signs. Straddling realities, right? Like the old, the new is like, whoa, you know, the structures of our lives are crumbling under our feet. And yet what's there to touch us, to catch us? And this is who we are and the role we're playing right now as SuperNova souls that we don't even know we're doing as the bridge. We saw this in the last activation, very powerful. Now that Leo full moon activation was really awesome, beautiful pictures that came through, and it's always like a preparation for the group, for the eclipses, right? So that Leo full moon was the entry into eclipses, so go back and get that activation if you didn't, because it's something very important for the eclipse season. Because now that we're coming in, we're going to be doing a solar eclipse soul group session. This is a group intuitive session looking at shared past lives. And then we'll be doing the Aquarius new moon activation on the day before. So the soul group session, the eclipse happens early in the morning on the 17th in Western US. And so the solar eclipse soul group session will be on Monday, February 16th. And the Aquarius new moon activation will be on Sunday, February 15th. So really powerful time to get the information that we're finally ready to receive. That's the energy of this astrology. What's in the way of you receiving who you are, receiving the wealth, receiving the abundance? And I'll tell you what, it's fear, which is programming, but also it's fear over how big you really are and what it means to continue living in a body on Mother Earth through this shift as you turning on your light and being recognizable. You know, going from that beggar in the streets feeling of like trying to just somehow get through as an advanced soul in this time, in a supernova soul, and then, you know, stepping into your full true inheritance, like turning on a dime. But that's what we've been told. Those that were last will be first. And so it's this kind of like trepidation of the fear of the evil and overcoming the fear of the evil and recognizing your power. But then the next fear that comes up is the fear of actually having to step into this potential. And that's what these squares are about. So we just had Mercury make that square on the 5th and the 6th of February, and the first one to make that square. Now Mercury has moved over into Pisces as of the 7th, and Venus is in the square now. Venus square Uranus on the 8th, 9th, and of February, and then on the 11th, Venus will be moving into the sign of Pisces. And then the Sun will, and Mars will make that square and move into Pisces later in the month. Now the Sun will move over into Pisces on the 19th, just after that solar eclipse. So this solar eclipse is so powerful because it is also Chinese New Year, moving into the year of the fire horse. And maybe that's part of this anticipation that we feel like. It's like we've been kept at the gate for so long and we've been demanding that the gate open for us. And yet, are we really ready to step out into what is the truth of standing in the world as the light of the world? And so it's just so incredibly powerful. And the new moon solar eclipse, like I said, Tuesday, February 17th, and it happens at 28 degrees of Aquarius, 50 minutes. So the Sun moves right into Pisces, right after. And so that is just, it's so epic. It's hard to even talk about because we have to remember that, okay, so all of this is saying that we're moving into the Aquarian age, right? And the ages go backwards, right? So just like the nodes of the moon. So we were in the Piscean age, now we're moving to the Aquarian age. They go backwards through the zodiac. And so that means that the age starts where the sign ends. And that's where this eclipse is. It's at 29 degrees, 28, 50 minutes. It's pretty much 29, the last degree of Aquarius. We're there. We made it. The gate is open. Now what do we do? And so that has to do with these squares with Uranus. So Venus square Uranus is really the crux of this energy because Venus rules Taurus, right? And so we've got Venus in the sign of Uranus in square to her sign of Taurus. And the fixed squares are like, have this impossible feeling, right? And so it's like facing the most impossible. Now, it's really interesting because once these planets move over into Pisces, then they are going to come into square with Black Moon Lilith and Sagittarius. And I think that's what we're really feeling, of like this pull into the darkness. Because talk about the lining up. The nodes of the moon will be at 8 degrees for these eclipses. Black Moon Lilith is at 5 degrees right now. And so Black Moon Lilith will be coming into square with the nodes of the moon in eclipse season. The exact square of Black Moon Lilith and the nodes is March 7th through 11th. Now, there's no mistake in this timing, I'm telling you, because on the 11th is when Jupiter in Cancer turns direct, where the tsunami of spiritual love comes back into our life, of the mother's love that's been blocked from us, right? Because when it comes down to it, supernova souls don't really care. Yes, it is nice to have what you need to be able to take care of yourself and do what you're here to do. But we are not here to stack up paper money and items and shiny things. No, that's not going to do it for us. We want our path and our purpose and our healing centers. You know, we want our tours and our, all the things that we've been trying to do for lifetimes, our ashrams and our centers that are really holding the mother's love. And so I just see this awakening of Mother Dragon in the earth. And as we come back into consciousness with her, what happens is that her life force increases and our life force increases. And her electromagnetic field strengthens and our electromagnetic field strengthens. And so it's everything that we've been fighting for from the very beginning of this whole story that's never been fully told. And are we going to get some serious answers, right? Because there is some truths coming out in the world that lead down some very dark rabbit holes that bring up a whole bunch more questions. And there is this is the Black Moon Lilith energy. It's just like this shame and discontent and anger, frustration, rage that's coming up over how misled and manipulated and literally genocided we've been with our own tax dollars. But going back all the way to the Atlantean time, the sons of Belial, and we have to understand that it is dark to face. This is what we call as Anons, the ones who have been studying Q and the whole deeper intelligence of what's happening right now from the beginning, is that we are discovering that we are walking a very different road, and that this is what we call the puking phase. And luckily, it's like what's happening right now is trying to give time for the assimilation of facing these dark truths. But we have to understand that child sacrificing is the sons of Belial. They've been doing it since Atlantean time, all the way back, right? And we've been talking so much about undoing the catastrophes and what we were just saying about it being an Aquarian age. And so it's like, this is something that's been going on for thousands of years. And now we're facing it. And we're saying, we're not going to let this happen in little pockets. It's not mom says no cannibalism. No, it's against the rules. And so it all has to come to light. And it's kind of like, is this a psyop? Could it really be real? Is it really that dark? Is it really like, and then you just want to put your blinders on and pretend it's not happening, right? But the real deal with all of this stuff that's coming out is really about the darker things that were happening, with factions that seek to basically genocide the poor people and poison us every which way, left and right, genetically modified, create profiles for cloning. And so every single conspiracy theory is in this conspiracy. And it's hard to find a conspiracy theory right now that isn't true. And so we walk a fine line, supernova souls, as we hold these dark truths. We hold our peace. We hold our knowing of the bigger vision, of the hope, of the love of the mother, the truth of who we are. There's so much more to this, because as the collective consciousness is going through the puking phase, It's just tumultuous for empaths right now. But you have no idea what you are doing and what you have been doing in processing for the collective. But now it's time for you to be rewarded and supported in that, huh? Right? I know supernova souls were tired. I mean, this is soul tired, right? And help is on the way. It's time for it. But can you receive it, right? Like all the healing, like, can you receive it? Are you good enough? Like, how do we, after being so manipulated and misled, how can we even trust to let the good in? And that seems to be the energy of these squares with Uranus. So right now we're feeling Venus, and it's a challenge to her. You know, the feminine feeling like she is carrying the weight, completely abandoned by the masculine, carrying the weight of the world with all of this, with the energy of the collective consciousness, you know, and just this incredible isolation and having to face it all by ourselves, right? Which is true, because this is all there is the self, and everything out there is a projection. On the other hand, don't forget we're all here. We're all here, right? So part of that fear, anxiety programming, it's also this complete isolation, this quarantined in micro-dimensional levels, so we can't access each other or our guidance through timeline manipulation, through time travel. It's all in the Epstein files, all of it. And we didn't get to WikiLeaks or the Wiener laptop yet, right? Like, so, yeah, it's a dark road, but if we are going to move into the future, we have got to face it. And I think that that is the energy of Black Moon Lilith and square to the nodes of the moon. So it's powerful that Black Moon Lilith will be in square to the nodes at 8 degrees. This is what happens with the nodes of the moon. The nodes of the moon are just areas in space. They're like vacuum points, kind of like Black Moon Lilith. How interesting. We're dealing with the invisible vacuum, you know, like what we haven't been able to see, which has been kind of like the black cube or the Bermuda Triangle. Technology spinning at the incorrect ratio, not in alignment with Mother Earth, creating total chaos. False geometry given by the highest teachers. Did you know that? The flower of life is the daisy of death. It is not correct. It's like a patriarchal overlay, false geometry on Mother Earth, keeping us imprisoned and trapped, right? Telling us that they're teaching us about our Merkaba field, while they're trapping us in eco constructs through the wrong geometry. You know, and it's just got the same energy as this technology that's being completely misused, that we have paid for with our tax dollars to genocide. I mean, it's all there. The bioweapon, the masking, the agenda of COVID and all that shit. It's all just been revealed. Of course, mainstream news isn't going to report on this, but I think there's a bigger plan around this to kind of harmonize and stretch out the puking phase. But just know that there will be waves of intense emotion. And perhaps it's also showing you where you've been holding the collective energies, and now it's time to move it and let it go, you know? To move it into the higher chakras, because the fear programming keeps us in the lower chakras. But when that energy of emotions, just like our Kundalini energy, our sexual energy, when we're working in it with it in the higher chakras, it's completely different feeling, you know? I mean, it's same, but same energy, different feeling. How about our emotions of fear, anxiety, of this programming and the puking and facing the darkness and the shadow, and like bringing that up into our heart to like really feel it, to write it down, to talk about it, to process it, to sing a song, you know, to bring it up into clarity. And this is literally, I think, what our Kundalini, like, you can do all the Kundalini yoga and all that you want to do, but until you process your lower emotions, it's fake. Just like our whole world is just fake. all the spiritual teachings out there fake. And that we're coming to a point, this is Neptune moving into Aries. It's like, show me the money, right? Uranus at the end of Taurus, where's the wealth? Where's the substance? We're done with Hollyweird and fake book, Facebook, DARPA, government program, stealing our data, our DNA, right? And so this is, it's like, it's kind of, we've gone too far down the rabbit holes to be able to get back out without knowing more truth. But a lot of people can just, especially like there's a lot of people who are just not interested in spiritually evolving. They're not interested in awakening, and that's okay. They get to be where they're at. There's a big group of people that are going to find out these truths and be really, really upset and really broken that everything we've been told is a lie. And they're trying to kill us, and poison us at every turn. It's not negligence. It's deliberate, And so it's like, on the one hand, there's this, but the only reason these truths can come to light is because there are structures being put in place in order to move into a different way of being in our world. We just don't know about them yet. And so it's like trying to bring ourselves to process these feelings, but come back to the mother's love, come back to the vision of what we want to create, to the magic moment of Saturn at 29 degrees Pisces, like the miracles, the magic, the Christ consciousness that was born at the last shift of ages is ours to have. It cannot be taken from us. But do we deserve it? So we can come back to Jesus moment, come back to mother moment. Repent is kind of the word, which it has, of course, a misunderstanding to it. But when you feel this feeling and you're like, oh, I just want to make it right, like, oh, how do I, just finding like you want to clear your heart, your soul, the karma, you want to go apologize, you want to give forgiveness. It's like, just make it right, This is the correction. So thank you. And you know what? This is kind of the reality check, because supernova souls are over here feeling so bad about what they haven't done, and really bad about little things that aren't in alignment, right? And then you find out that they're eating babies, and you're like, oh God, we've been plagued with guilt and shame for this whole evolution, while they're doing that under our nose. And we've just been ignoring it. Is it really real? And so it's a very strange journey right now, but actually that completely fits Mercury retrograde in Pisces, as Saturn and Neptune are together at 0 degrees Aries, and eclipse season with the first solar eclipse in Aquarius in this cycle at 29 degrees. Now, let's just talk about this, because it's just so lining up. And I think I'm going to come back around to, thanks for being patient and going around the circles, the eddies with me, but coming back around to the nodes of the moon, right? Like that the nodes of the moon and Black Moon Lilith are both just points in space. There's no actual item there. And the nodes of the moon are the interception between the sun's orbit and the moon's orbit. And so it's kind of a changing point that's kind of going back and forth like this, but moving backwards through the zodiac, just like the ages, the shift of ages. So the nodes have to do with the shift of ages, right? It's an orientation. The north node is, how are we going to get to where we're going? South node, what is keeping us back in the past? So here we have north node in Pisces, south node in Virgo. North node, how do we get forward? We got to clean up the Piscean age. We got to get the truth. We got to get outside of this external authority that's used spiritual consciousness to control humanity through fear. No. It's just not going to stand in the new age, is it? Come on, it's just so archaic. I can't believe we're reliving these cycles, and yet we are. And are you feeling this in your life? Feels like Saturn at 29 degrees Pisces is a roundabout reworking just all these old things showing back up in a cyclical fashion, kind of showing it's so weird and creepy in a way, but it's actually showing you how to get out of the matrix. It's showing you it is a matrix. And then if you understand that the matrix is designed specifically to make sure you never know who you really are, then we better get going on knowing who we really are if we're going to escape the matrix, right? We are. It's falling apart around us because of the work we've been doing for lifetimes. And the consciousness, the timing, and that is what the astrology is saying. It's saying it's in your face. You cannot deny this. You cannot look at this current astrology and not have absolute confirmation of everything we've been talking about, dreaming about, writing about for thousands of years. Right? It's biblical. And it's playing out in front of our eyes. So where's our role in it? Because it's time to step up, which is absolutely frightening for some reason, even though we don't even know what that means. And yet fear's a program. So here we go. Ready to make this leap. This week, Saturn moving into Aries, a complete reset and restart of our time, rules, reality. Now, let's just talk this through because this is so powerful that Saturn is coming into conjunction with Neptune. Can barely even talk straight or think straight because Saturn and Neptune are coming into conjunction. Now, they came together into conjunction last year in August in 2025 for a couple of weeks, but they never made it to exact conjunction. And the story of this is so crazy because they came within 13 minutes apart. And 13 is the number, the letter M in the alphabet, mother, ma, magic, music. And also the demonization of these things and the disconnection from these things, right? Like the 13th floor and the occult and the misuse of these mystical spiritual energies associated with the divine feminine. So that is so crazy. And now they're approaching again. They're getting so close with Saturn making it to 29 degrees as of the 5th. And Neptune sits at 0 degrees just over the border, right? And yet so connected. Now, Saturn moves over for that jump start on the 15th, but the jump start doesn't really play out fully until into April. So let's talk this through because Saturn moving to Aries is like restart. And yet we've got to kind of, there's that recapitulation, upside down, inside out, spinning all around moment where things have to adjust to the new way. And that seems to have to do with that next period of time from the middle of February into April, because we've got Mercury retrograde in Pisces and the eclipse season, right? And so we also have Black Moon Lilith in square to the nodes of the moon. And all of our personal planets coming into conjunction with the North Node and squaring up with Black Moon Lilith and Sagittarius. So we are facing the darkness. We're moving through the portal. We are, yes, it's a reset, and then that's going to shake things up. And it's like, when you go to clean something and it just gets dirtier, right? It's like, as you go to clean it, you don't realize how dirty it is, and it's like smeared all over the place. You don't have the right materials, and it's like, maybe right now we finally got the gel, the right material to clean this up, right? Like, really clean it up. And so we're going to go deep in our own being in a cellular level, because the infiltration of Earth, the ultimate infiltration, is the infiltration in our bodies of nanotechnology. And we all have it. It's an agenda. It's in the files, it's all in there. How about the telescope that they have, the Vatican telescope that's at the ranch in New Mexico? What the heck is that about? And so we're going to the crux of the power structure at this moment, and it's falling apart in front of our eyes. We have to understand that it couldn't be revealed to this level if it wasn't already demolished to a point that it can't rise again. But there are specters. There are just the most viciously wanting to feed creatures on the astral plane, haunting us, and yet our light is getting stronger every day, that we can just go, right? Get thee behind me. And this is the shift for supernova souls. It's going from like being this for thousands of years. We've been like, oh my God, here we are, hit the ground running, keep hiding, keep speaking in code and hiding the secrets and hiding the technologies and hiding ourselves and being on the run. And it's like we're a victim of their movie. But it's our movie. It's our consciousness that creates reality. They just hijacked our consciousness to create their reality they wanted to create. Trauma and drama. And so in our individual field, this is so important, the Owning Your Energetic Field course, major downloads around overcoming this fear and the third chakra. You can catch up with the replays. Anybody who wants to be a part of this Owning Your Energetic Field course, please contact me, because it is just the more people we have doing this work, the better. It's just so powerful. Just holding our field and being able to understand, to find this place of center, to find this strength as we incarnate more fully here. These forces are trying to get us so uncomfortable. Like, you don't even understand what has gone on to try to keep you in misery, like inside your body without your consent. Trying to keep you in total misery with like microwave frequencies and stuff. What happens when that stuff stops and our joy just explodes back? It just bounces back. It's our joy. And so this is what we're up against, what we're dealing with, what we're trying to reclaim. And so the astrology is just telling us, confirming exactly the story that we thought. It's all true. So now what are you going to do? Right? It was kind of like all of us researching all this stuff, and kind of fun to research all these things, but then to really face that it's true, and what we've given away and what we've allowed with our resources, and of mother's wealth and mother's love, and this deliberate disconnect and all of it. And it's just like we have to walk through these fires, and come to a bigger place. That what if it's all about us coming back into knowing that we're the creators of the movie and they're in our world now. Everything out there is in your movie now, because you're back home with mother on your throne, out of the gutter. And it's a quick turnaround, right? And that's what these squares with Uranus are about. But going back to this, I can't seem to complete these energy around the nodes, Black Moon, Lilith, and square to the nodes. So Black Moon, Lilith, so we talk about the nodes are just a point in space, the interception of the orbit of the sun and the moon, representing destiny, representing the invisible, representing the shift of ages, the bigger call. And so the North Node in Pisces is about reclaiming the Piscean age, the miracles and magic, cleaning up the past in order to move forward. And then South Node Virgo tells us that it has to do with the earth, being earth healers, and our relationship to our own inner healer, whether we can heal ourselves and whether we can heal the earth by healing ourselves. It means we really got to have worth, right? To take care of ourselves, to treat our body like her body. It's so hard, isn't it? But it'll get easier. And it just will feel so good. And so just know, it's like there's a lot of patience and compassion required for yourself right now. that if you understood what obstacles you were really going up against, you would have a lot more compassion for yourself, right? So just be patient and compassionate, and know that we're very out of balance in our nervous system and our field from all of this timeline recorrection and frequency recorrection. So all the suppressed stuff is coming up, and it just is going to come up, and it just got to go. Remember, moving into Aries, it might be helpful to look at Aries has a very interesting way of dealing with emotions. They come up and they're expressed, and then they're gone. And so that can be kind of helpful in a way, because we don't need to mire around in this. We have to understand this is suppressed, it's collective, it's in our cells, it's in our DNA, and we're just transmuting. We're just moving it. Just keep moving. Keep moving and keep resting, right? The constant challenge. So Black Moon Lilith is also a point out in space. It's the furthest away, the apogee of the moon from the earth. So the furthest away that the moon gets, so it's just a black vacuum out there. And it represents all these secrets, right? Because there's darkness of the moon. The moon is not what they say it is. It's not controlling the tides, actually. And it's like there's all kinds of mysteries. We never went to the moon, like that was filmed in a studio by Stanley Kubrick. And it's like, so what the hell is the moon? And why does it have an exact reflection of the flat earth map, of all the continents? So Black Moon Lilith is all the secrets. And it has to do, it's very powerful right now. It might be good to look at Black Moon Lilith in your birth chart, what house it's in and sign, because it has to do, and then look at your 12th house, because the 12th house is our secrets, or what we haven't, it's deep in our subconscious. And so that is connected to Black Moon Lilith, and it's all being the cat's out of the bag. And it's like, it just can't, it's like Jack in the Box, you can't put it back in once it's exposed. You can try all you want, right? But what just happened, I think, is kind of a mistake. The files were redacted, except for that there was things put in place for hackers to easily be able to unredact them. So we're there. We're here. There's no going back from this disclosure. And so what does that mean for us, supernova souls, facing disclosure within us? Who are you really? And what is your role here? Because you've always felt, supernova souls, it's always like, oh, there's something I need to do. There's something more. There's something bigger. But we didn't really put two and two together. That meant we have to be bigger. And so, oh yeah, we're going to be the leaders of the new age. It's like, no, the actual stepping out and being a leader of the new age and putting your light body on and demonstrating it to the world, that is scary. So this is the Black Moon Lilith. And so our personal planets square with Uranus, moving into Pisces, square with Black Moon Lilith. And so that will be, Mercury makes that square with Black Moon Lilith on the 10th, Venus on the 16th, and that's going to lead us right in to the eclipse. And then the moon will square up with Black Moon Lilith on the 26th of February. That's the same day. Once in a while in astrology, you'll have little quinky-dinks, little coincidences, but this is beyond. Okay? It's not mathematically possible. So something else is at play. Do you understand the thousands of years and what we've gone through in the cycles of these planets and energies relating to each other to get to this place, to give us this message? It's unmistakable and unavoidable. And that's the energy you feel in your body, in your being. And so the sun squaring the nodes the day that Mercury turns retrograde is so powerful, because Mercury retrogrades back to 8 degrees of Pisces, where the North Node is, for these eclipses during eclipse season. And guess what? That means that Mercury hangs out for 2 whole weeks close to the North Node and in square to Black Moon Lilith at the same time. Because Black Moon Lilith will be approaching that square. And this is the thing, okay? I just got to get this out so I can process it, okay? Like, Mercury square Black Moon Lilith happens at 5 degrees. Venus square Black Moon Lilith happens at 6 degrees. The Sun square Black Moon Lilith happens at 7 degrees. Then Black Moon Lilith comes into exact square with the nodes of the moon at 8 degrees. And then Mars comes into square with Black Moon Lilith at 9 degrees. Mercury's going to back up and do it again. Or the final square, when Mercury goes retrograde back to meet up with in that square with Black Moon Lilith again, and the nodes again as he's turning direct. So that will be Mercury turns direct on the 21st of March, equinox. And then will gonna square up with Black Moon Lilith before that and after that. So that whole period of time. And so Black Moon Lilith exactly square the nodes, and Mercury turning direct in that placement, conjunct the North Node. And so 2 full weeks of feeling Black Moon Lilith with the North Node and in square to Black Moon Lilith. I mean, Mercury, yeah. And so that energy is so incredibly powerful. And those 2 conjunctions that happen before and after he turns direct happen at 9 degrees, where Mars also, so that's when Mars, Mercury and Mars will also be there together at 9 degrees when it's at 9. Oh my gosh. And then on the 29th, Mercury and Black Moon Lilith of March come into square for the final time at 11 degrees. 9/11. And that is very powerful because 9/11, September 11th, 9/11 we know is a big day in history, but it's also divined as Jesus's true birthday numerology. The twin towers represent Mary and Jesus. And so we've got to put them back together. We got to put ourselves back together. We got to heal completely our feminine and masculine and get this sacred marriage, this bridal chamber here on earth going. And so it's just too wild how that all lines up. So I had to share that with you. And so now all of this is powerful because Black Moon Lilith is exactly square the nodes from the 3rd to the 11th, the 7th to 11th, and then 11th, March 11th is the day that Jupiter will turn direct. And then we have the resolution of the Mercury retrograde, the Black Moon Lilith, the eclipse season. Mercury comes out of retrograde shadow on April 10th. And it's powerful because that is when we will have, I don't know, I didn't write it down, I don't think, but, so what I was saying about this Saturn moving into Aries is this restart of our time, but we're in a recapitulation, adjustment, free fall, tumbling down the mountain type thing. And then that resolves so Mercury will turn direct on the 21st of March and then come out of retrograde shadow April 10th, but move into Aries. I think there in April, we have both. Oh, I think I wrote it down here. Nope, I didn't. So with Mercury and Mars will move into Aries. Mars will be the first one, and this is in the first half of April, right? So when Mars and the Mercury move into Aries over the Aries point, that's when this timeline alignment, recorrection, jumpstart is kind of put in place. So, oh, I remember now, it's April 15th. How could I forget that Mercury moves in to the sign of Aries over the Aries point, our last personal planet. Saturn and Neptune no longer going back into Pisces. We still have now the nodes. So after that, we won't have anything in Pisces except for the north node of the moon. And the nodes of the moon move into new signs in July 1st. July 1st through 3rd is also when Jupiter and Chiron are exactly square for the third and final square, which is this what we got, a message of them being in Cancer and Aries, a fight to the death for the life of Mother Earth. But now, when they meet in July, both direct, they'll be in the signs of their new signs, Leo and Taurus. So, 0 degrees. And it's Jupiter in Leo expanding into our light, our presence, our expanding into showing who we are in the world. And Chiron and Taurus, the wounds over where we haven't been able to receive. So it's a new chapter. And we sit at 0 degrees. And they're together in that exact square, July 1st through 3rd, leading up to July 4th, which is 250 years since the Declaration of Independence was signed. So, have we been yet set free? Did we win World War II? Or is this when this whole mess started? You know? And did we win the revolution? Or were we just being controlled and led into the Civil War in order to steal our bank again? So we are now, it's time for freedom. The astrology says so. We take back our consciousness. It's our movie now. No more trauma and drama. We don't need to know the script because Mom knows the script. And we're back with her in our heart and our soul. We walk with her. We carry the field of Mother's Garden, bringing miracles and healing and calm and peace and presence wherever we go. And it's just such a radical shift for us, going from just flailing and stumbling through life on some level. You know, this is a lot of what's going on with Saturn at the end of Pisces. Saturn is like, I always feel like it's like it can be like if there's Saturn transits or energies you're working out in your own chart, in your life, it's like glitchy, where the physical world just isn't lining up for you, right? Like things aren't, they're like falling over or spilling, or like it's like the structures can't hold us, and that's exactly, hold the energy, and that's exactly where we are right now. And so this is just kind of, it brings to light another message that I don't think I've had a chance to relay, that says, if it feels like you're falling apart, Mom says, that means you're really holding worlds together. So, thank you for going through all you're going through. And now we put ourselves back together, right? We call back all of our energy back to ourselves. All the soul retrieval, all the pieces of ourselves, you know, all the energies stuck in past lives, and the energies we gave to people in relationships and our womb, and like everywhere, that we, you know, we have to gather it all back up. It's almost like we can't reconcile the purse until you go and retrieve all of the remnants. Okay? So gather it up. Gather up what's yours. Feel worthy of it. You don't need anything from out there. They tricked you. They need you. Now, what are you going to put your energy for? And it's moment to moment, every day, continual prayer with Mother Earth. And if we can just kind of keep that going through eclipse season and Mercury retrograde, very powerful. The second eclipse is a Virgo total lunar eclipse happening on Tuesday, March 3rd. And so we're also going to have a Virgo full moon activation on the 1st and a soul group session on the 2nd. That's a total lunar eclipse. It's closer to the nodes of the moon. So that's what makes a total or a partial eclipse, is how close the lunation happens to where the nodes are. So this Aquarius new moon solar eclipse is 10 degrees away from the nodes. So it's not a total eclipse. It's not going to get that total covering or the ring or the of what happens in a total solar eclipse. And the Virgo total lunar eclipse, though, will be a long-standing red moon from anywhere in the world that the moon's out. So that will be 4:33 a.m. in Mountain Time, and so it looks like probably these time zones will be able to see it, and so, yeah, it means it's a red moon over Lemuria. And so massive activation of the power of the blood. Everything that these nefarious forces were working on, including the DNA compilation, is looking for certain DNA, certain lineages. And we have to understand that how this toxicity we're dealing with has corrupted our blood. And we go back to the mysteries of the blood in the Bible, and that it's not about blood sacrifice or drinking the blood, It's about cleansing the blood and connecting to the blood and understanding that life force runs through our blood. What moves our blood isn't the heart, they found out, right? We think this is like a pump, and it's not. It's a magical, mystical band of electromagnetic frequency. And the blood moves through magnetics. So we have to just completely rearrange our understanding on everything down to fundamental pieces of life and science. But she has the codes. She has the ratios, the vibrations, the frequency. It's written in her physical form, in the plants, the animals, the minerals. They hold the mysteries for us, and we have to know this, that the plant never questions who it is. It doesn't change mid growth period into something else. It doesn't question its identity, and it never feels shame, even if it might be diseased, or suffering. All the other plants and trees come to the rescue, or they help it be released. There's no shame or blame. So our earth got diseased with these creatures that do not care. Okay, the reptilian programming in the DNA, very powerful clearing came up around this in the Owning Your Energetic Field. And it's like we have to understand that that's where the fear programming comes from. And all the reptilian programming, all that species cares about is survival. Does that make sense? Why we've been in this survival mentality for so long? And so they don't feel and they don't care. They will trample on whatever and anything to get what they want and what they need to survive, which is us and our energy. And so we have to say no more. But guess what? The manipulation is so thick that they've got us feeling sorry for them. After what they've done to us, we feel sorry for them. We carry the shame of what they've done. We feel so bad for them that we can't even allow them to have the repercussions, the balance, the justice, right? If we're moving into our future in the Aquarian age and our autonomy, we need justice. We need Lady Justice. And it needs to be that blind justice where it doesn't matter who you are. We are not going to tolerate this in our world, in our realm. And we can't just ignore it. We can't pretend it's not there. And for all the energies out there saying that no one will ever get arrested, it's like, no. Not just arrested, eradicated, And this is happening. So just remember how much you're holding space for what you have no idea that's going on, but supernova souls are holding space for it and processing so much and making the dream real. And now this is what we're doing, making the dream real. Saturn and Neptune conjunction. So going back to that, we talked about how they only made it to 13 minutes apart in August of last year. Now they're coming together. That was at 1 degree of Aries. Now they're coming together at 0 degrees, and they will be the closest, or they'll come into that 13 minutes apart place on the 18th. That is just after, almost the same, within 24 hours of that solar eclipse. The day after the new moon in Aquarius is Chinese New Year. So it's just so powerful that they come together back to 13 minutes apart. The closest they got a year, almost a year ago on the 18th, which is Chinese New Year, year of the fire horse. Okay? Saturn and Neptune come into their exact conjunction on the 21st of February. So it's like they come into, so we've got the solar eclipse, Saturn, Neptune, exact, Sun moves into Pisces, and then we have their exact conjunction on the 21st. And we'll be feeling them together. This really intense, unavoidable coming home to reality energy. You gotta face it. You gotta use it or lose it. You gotta move or you're slowly dying, And this is just this, it's awakening. And don't we need this? And it's interesting because I started another YouTube channel years ago wanting to talk about some of these conspiracy theories and things, how people try to understand from an intuitive perspective. And all of those videos got taken down. The name of the channel is True Awakening. And I chose that name because for many years, I've been asking, how does humanity awaken? How can I help the spiritual awakening? How can I help people come back into what matters and this process and this path of consciousness? And the answer I got was truth brings awakening. The truth of the world events and our history and our science brings the awakening of the masses. And here we are. So now do you see why you have been preparing for this role? To lead the awakening of the masses. And so I'm exploring this, like, should I do some other videos, maybe short little videos or something talking about these events, making clarity, bringing these things together. I've already gone too far in our sacred astrological space, but maybe it'd be good as a group to get together for a chat, just share and talk about things in that way around having a special time to kind of help each other process these truths and the world and what's happening and where we're at. So look out for that. And thank you so much for being with me, being a part of the Supernova Soul Tribe. And we're also going to be doing Zoom calls there soon. And so it's just really time for us to get back together. It's crazy how we know the message of two or more, or two or three, written in the Bible, and how much that makes sense, that we need to have that 2 towers, and how difficult it's been to get 2 supernova souls together in one of these sacred places that we're called to go. There's so many, but we've been very thwarted, and that's part of it too, right? Just be present with this isolation, with this feeling that you've had to do it all by yourself, that you've had to carry all the weight, of the world, because you kind of have, but now we put it down. And we kind of have to find within us where we feel the resentment, where we feel the anger, where we feel the frustration, where we feel the grief, the sadness, the repentance, the energies of regret, where we allowed these forces to play in our sandbox, And we just have to go through all that. in order to clear the slate. We cannot run from any dark energies in our subconscious. And that's what this Black Moon Lilith square is about. It's so crazy just to have Black Moon Lilith square the nodes, Mercury and Mars together with the North Node, square Black Moon Lilith and the nodes happening all during eclipse season and Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Black Moon Lilith is in Sagittarius. And this is where we get to the heart of it, because Sagittarius is the seeker. It's about the quest, the greater quest, the understanding, learning and expanding and growing. And this is what we haven't been able to do. And we haven't been able to do it. We haven't been able to be on our quest of doing like the healing center and the this and the that we really want to do, teach people spiritually. And that's because of these hidden shadows and these hidden darkness. So we're looking at the shadowy energies that have kept us from being on our true quest. So all of our personal planets connecting, getting close to the nodes, the North Node, that's opposite the South Node in Virgo, right? The hidden grief over where we feel that we failed our mission, which is failing Mother Earth, our goddess. She's divine goddess incarnate. She's the daughter of God, of creation. You know, she's a mystical, magical high priestess, and we get to walk on her body and literally be a part of her body. And maybe that's this, we talk about how you come into the connection with Mother Energy, and you can't come into the reconnection with Mother Energy until you feel the wound of separation, of how sad it is that you've stayed away so long. And this is kind of where humanity's at, and where we all are at with Uranus at the end degrees of Taurus, of figuring out how to forgive ourselves enough and forgive our oppressors enough to learn to receive, to be ready for our inheritance that's coming. It must come back to us after all that's been stolen. There's no other way. So that part, when Mercury and Mars are together, that's the middle. That's the middle of March. And then the middle of April that they move over into Aries, and we kind of get on with this, right? So there's another chapter there from mid-April to when the nodes shift signs in the beginning of July. That's going to be some massive preparation, rearranging in your life that's going to need to happen. But we don't really know clearly what that might mean until we get through this next chapter of absolute total confusion. And just let yourself be confused, because underneath the confusion, what's happening with Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries is that the confusion energy of the past that's been used to manipulate us again and again, it just can't stand. You know, it just, the structures of our world and concepts and realities and actions and situations don't have a base in delusion anymore. You know, and this is part of the biggest energy of what's happening. We talked about is this revealing, like, take the masks off. You know, we've been manipulated enough now. And for whatever reason, good or bad, we need the truth. We've got to come out of deception. It's just too damaging. And for supernova souls, that's how we got manipulated, to give our power away. And so we have to say no. We have to say, no more consent. I did not give consent. If I did, it was under duress or manipulation. All consent is revoked to interfere with the sacred energy of the holy body of Mother Earth, which is my body in the energy field, right? Our bodies, our energy field. Because this infiltration of technology in our physical body is about accessing our energy field to be able to manipulate our thoughts, feelings, and emotions. It's all artificial, and it's all a program, you know? And it's just time for us to just find this power. And sometimes it takes the rage, it takes the emotions to not suppress them, to move them, like we said, into the higher chakras and claim clarity, claim confidence, and claim forward motion as we walk forward and claim back our world. It's time. Everything says so. So get ready. And we are in this massive time of preparation. So this week we've got a lot going on. We just had Mercury move into Pisces. Venus is square to Uranus today. Then we'll move into Pisces on Wednesday. Mercury will move into retrograde shadow and across the North Node, starting this whole drama on the Thursday, the 12th. And then the exact energy of Saturn conjunct Neptune starts this week and goes all through next week and really into the beginning of April. And Mercury square Black Moon Lilith into the beginning of April. And so we're kind of in this squeezing. Saturn and Neptune says our optimal, this is when we reset and we claim and we said our optimal reality, our optimal timeline, what Mother Earth's geometry and spin ratios. Okay? Reset. The optimal, beautiful timeline. You know, it's like not us coming forward with some agenda. Our agenda is her agenda from the beginning because we were there and we saw. We're stewards. Supernova souls were there witnessing the birth, the conception of the dream of Mother Earth. No wonder we feel so bad for her. But that's just the symptoms showing you you're on the way back to this true connection that can never leave you. It's so powerful. And so then at the end of the week, we'll also start feeling the sun taking his turn in that square with Uranus. The moon catches right up after that for that new moon solar eclipse. Chinese New Year the following day. The day that Saturn and Neptune come within 13 degrees. It's almost like we couldn't really restart, 13 minutes. We couldn't really restart our world until they get closer together. And we couldn't really do that till we got to this point and this alignment. And Chinese New Year is so powerful. The year of the fire horse is intense energy. It fits the Aries we talked about. Fast flashes of emotion, empowerment. But Aries wants to stand up for the little guy. He wants to do what's right, and he's not scared to go up against the bullies. So guess what? This is what we're doing. And the fire horse is saying, hey, we have had Stockholm syndrome waiting for the gate to open. We didn't know we could just open it and go out. And now we're like chomping at the bit. It's like, we're ready. But are we ready? Or we're, yeah, no. And so this is the squares with Uranus. It's like, no, it's reclaiming your wealth time. Are you ready? It's just only thing holding you back is whether or not you feel worthy of your own wealth that was yours, given to you by Creator, only to be used by you. So here we go. Very, very powerful times ahead. Again, I could talk for hours, but that's probably enough for today. And so please consider joining the new moon activation, Aquarius new moon activation. That'll set the stage for the soul group session where we go deeper into shared past life pictures, really see who we are and what we're doing here. It's coming. We're there. We're at the precipice. So the activation will be Sunday, February 15th, and the soul group session will be Monday, February 16th. That eclipse is on the 17th, Chinese New Year, and everything starts on the 18th. So here we go, supernovas, and it is so powerful to come together. And thank you so much for your support. It is a very small amount of souls that have paid my way in all of this work that's come through us. And I deeply appreciate your support. I would not be here without you. And know that I feel you, I hear you, and I hope you hear me listening and responding, just like Mother Earth wants us to do with her, you know? She wants to hear us and she wants to talk to us. This is a lot of what Supernova Souls are about. So thank you so much for being with me in this, and I look forward to seeing you there. You can get into the activations for half price by joining in the membership. So thank you so much for being a SuperNova Soul Tribe membership for $20 a month. And then that gets you into the new moon and the full moon activation. There'll be a sliding scale on the eclipse sessions. And please, if you can, give more offer. That would be such a great help for me right now in turning my ship around. And thank you for being there energetically in whatever way you can support with joining the class, joining the group, joining an activation, the soul group session, or just giving a donation. There's 2 different links for donation in the information box below. So thank you so much for your support. We're doing this. It's happening. I couldn't do it without you. I'm so grateful. And I know that, right alongside those feelings of anger, frustration, shame, and just utter rage at what's been done to us, right next to that is like, oh, that happened so we could figure out how powerful we are and take back our wealth and stop the madness and get on with what we really came here to do. So we're going to be exploring this deeper, these patterns, these symbols, and all of this together. And we'll just kind of see what that might look like moving forward. But thank you so much for being here. The best support you can give is your consciousness, your presence, showing up, listening to this information, bringing your pictures. That's the beauty of intuitive work. We're all connected as a field. And I know that we're feeling this stronger and stronger. And I'm feeling also a major increase in the help with angels. Like we're being released, overcoming a quarantine type energy that's kept us in the timeline distortions from time travel and manipulations of time. We've gotten all out of whack, but we're coming back into that alignment. That's what this whole astrology is talking about. Now, what that means is that you can connect with the beings, the higher archangeloi and angels, archangeloi, levels of angels that are the beings of form that help us bring into form our creations. And so we haven't been able to connect with those beings that can go before us and help us work with the universal forces. We've been on the run trying to just avoid disaster at every turn. And now it's time for co-creation, where we get to dance and work with the universe. And it doesn't mean it's all going to go our way and be what we think or even be good all the time. But we still will be connected in the dance and know that it all comes back around right. Because this is her main teaching and the one I have the most difficulty with. The first message she ever came forward with is that everything's unfolding perfectly. I'm like, Mom, it doesn't look like that or feel like that. Like years of torture, torturous existence, it does not seem perfect, does it? But then along with that comes the message of like, you have to be where you're at for anything to change, right? And that's kind of it. It's like this argument with the way things are happening, but it's like, how can we find our strength and confidence in that place of battle, right? That's kind of the whole point. They want us in the lower battle against them when we're just more powerful. It's ours. It's our resources. This is the thing. It's like, all the harassers in the world, just think about all the people who you've had to deal with that have caused you trouble, have abused you, have just, blocked you every turn or whatever weird stuff's happened. It's like, then just line those energies up. Do any of them have anything of substance that they have offered and produced in this world like you have every moment you exist? So we got to stop feeling sorry for the non-producers and say, get in line and start helping or get out of the way because it's going to get hot in the kitchen. And this is the thing, the power of the frequencies that we are working with, that we are fully prepared to work with, and that we know how to do it. We might not know we know how to do it, but we know how to work with these higher frequencies and energies, and it's coming in like a fireball. But it's okay. Let the energy move through your being and the activation occur and this massive frequency rise where that shit cannot exist in your world. And it's a definitive authority. And this is, our field, owning our field. We're owning her field. We're healing the Great Divide, the breach that happened at the Atlantean catastrophes and perhaps before, but where these dark things in our name, under our nose, with our resources have been happening. And now we eradicate it completely from the planet, from our realm. No more. No more hiding in the shadows. No more turning a blind eye to the absolute misalignment with Mother Earth's laws and rules and what we know in our heart to be true because of our connection with her. Now, you could call her Jesus because both the Agar Casey readings and Rudolf Steiner lectures have alluded to, mysteriously, that the soul of Earth is no different than Yeshua, Christ did in a body, Christ consciousness. So now we have a different idea of the bridal chamber and what it is we're doing here. Rejoining the soul of Earth. We really are saving our goddess and bringing her home to herself. And there's no fear in that. There's no separation. There's no leaving anybody behind. We don't have to do it or fix it or figure it out or heal it because she knows best. Her life force is just coming online, Mother Dragon waking up with the year of the fire horse, and rippling through our world. It's not destructive. That was the whole lie they told us. It's time to build. And that's what happens when the masculine is inspired and falls in love with the feminine. They might not even know what the energy is that they feel. When they fall in love with the goddess, they just want to build beautiful things, and support and hold that energy. But unfortunately, the patriarchal program was about owning and controlling and creating scarcity of that energy so that it could be hoarded. But it's abundant. And what if we hold space for that fountain of that beautiful divine feminine within each of us, and the beauty of the world and the earth to just flourish. Just get out of the way and let her flourish and support her. Give her space, to do the work that she can do best. This is how the vital force works in the body. When the vital force is triggered by a correct resonant homeopathic remedy, a resonant vibration, it sends the vital force of the body, the healing force of the body, it catapults it into action. The remedy doesn't say, this is how you go do it. Because you're never going to have the same reaction to a remedy. It has to do with the individual and where they're at. And so, but the remedy is saying, wake up. Body, there's a situation here. And so what you're doing is you're taking a substance in nature that has that same situation, right? Like that same vibration. Too much coffee will make you jittery and anxiety, right? So somebody who's jittery, anxiety, like always feeling that, coffea, the remedy, could be helpful. But if you keep drinking a whole bunch of coffee, you're going to be exhausted and depleted. So that is also indicated. The remedy is indicated for exhaustion as well. That's a secondary reaction. So homeopathy can bring us out of duality consciousness. Because when the body's triggered, it doesn't say, oh, now coffee is acting the way coffee works. It's saying, no, this matching picture of vibration is triggering the vital force to do what it needs to do. And it's going to take the most direct line to cure, the most harmonious direct line to cure. And it's like, get out of the way and let the body do it. Don't give another remedy. Maybe support the body in whatever can help, right? But this is what's happening on the earth right now. I feel like maybe Saturn and Neptune in Aries coming together finally is a remedy. And that is this trigger, a piercing of the veil, a reminder of Earth, the organism, our bodies, what we're here for and who we really are, and the life and the ecstasy and the expansion that's available, that how living should feel, you know? And it's like, right? But then you have the healing crisis, or hopefully you don't. But see, when you take a remedy that's indicated, the body will move so quickly, particularly in the first moments and days after a constitutional remedy. You'll see all this stuff happening. And it'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm going back into this pattern. I'm going to get that headache again. I'm going to get that sinus infection again. I can feel it. It's going. It's always that. And then it's like, it'll move, it's actually like the body has to go into that state in order to know the pathway for healing, right? So it has to start in the direction down the headache or the sinus infection, and then it'll harmonize. So this is what we have to expect over this next period of time, you know, from now into mid-April. Tax day. Let's get this tax thing figured out, because they should be paying us, you know, and we got to take back all that's been stolen. So it's this massive turnaround, and the vital force moving, Mother Dragon waking up, Year of the Fire Horse is going to move energy. There's going to be symptoms, right? There's going to be a return of old symptoms. There's going to be eddying around into the old patterns. There's going to be an expression of what's been suppressed. So get ready for that. And I think supernova souls, maybe we're being prepared to, like, because of the requirement of really understanding, really holding space for the puking phase, which is then the rage comes, you know, after that. And then we can get with the cleanup. So just know that you're holding space in a massive way. It's almost like you've been prepared for this moment. Like, keep the ship, you know, balanced through the storm, because you are a superstar, if you had any idea. And this is what's coming careening into our world like a comet, right? That's how I was shown. I was asking, like, how did supernovas, what's the deal? What are we doing here? How did we get here? And I saw a comet coming to Earth, and it was a group of us. It was like just dropped off in soul group, right? We come in groups and being like, okay, here comes a comet. And so that's the energy of our true self, our expanded self, our higher dimensional self that has not been able to incarnate in these dense frequencies. Maybe that's why they want to keep us in these dense frequencies, right? And that higher self is like, we're just bumping it up enough for that bigger self to land, which is also spiritual ascension, but we're using this body and we're incarnating, and that's the energy of Uranus and Taurus. Permission and worthiness for higher frequency vibrations, technologies, our wealth, but the embodiment of our wealth, that Mother Earth can take back her robe, her garment of light, you know, her groom, and come back into the sacred marriage. So we got our work cut out for us, because most people are at odds with themselves in the masculine and the feminine, our whole world at odds with each other, whatever side you're on. And guess what? Newsflash, we're all on the same side. Unless you're a hybrid demonic creature that stole through cloning soul essence of human, we all want the same thing. The reptiles know. They're here to step on anybody and do anything, and justifies the means. This is our politicians, right? They'll do anything to get what they want for survival, and to steal and to take. That's not us. We are not like them. We need to stop feeling sorry for them, because they will continue to ruin us, you know? And we got to sort this out, right? The wheat from the chaff. It's like, okay, the tares, is it time? Is it getting really clear now? Because, but all true human souls, we all want the same thing. We all want comfort and love, and come back to the to Mother, to the nurturing, to the Milky Way, to receive, to be in love, to be held and cared for, and family. And they've got us fighting over all these things that are complete distraction. And that's some of the biggest shame that's coming up for supernova souls and maybe humanity, but like how much we've allowed ourselves to get distracted in all these games and all these movies from what we're really, who we are and what we're here to do, and just stuck in fear and living their bad movie of their nightmare. The nightmare's over. I felt it when Neptune moved over into Aries. Glimpse. Now Saturn, and we got to work this all out, right? We got to go back into the deep, dark, weird, strange, uncomfortable, because it's just going to feel like that with eclipses, with the nodes of the moon in Pisces and Virgo, and Mercury retrograde in Pisces, right? This is the final flush of the Piscean age of all the darkness, so we can uncover the treasures underneath, Maybe that's why the tide had to go out, so that we could find these inner treasures. So now we have a stable foundation to receive the physical bounty that we need to move forward on the incredible projects we came here to do. 2 or more, 3 or more, isn't that big of a deal? I guess so, rocket science. So thank you so much for being a supernova soul, for being here, making it through all you've made it through. And on that note, a little side note, I've been talking a little bit about the seductive quality of the false light. We have to understand that message that came through around what would be the point of keeping us in such oppression? I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, they don't want us to evolve into our next state, because if we go to the higher frequencies, then they can't exist and they can't feed on us there. Right? So that makes sense. But the energy of oppression is also very much specifically designed to keep us from knowing who we are, keep us from co-creating, and keeping us in that dark movie. It's false. It's an overlay. It's total, complete programming. And they had to go to the point to infiltrate our body with toxins that self-replicate heavy metals, graphene, to create biosensors at very specific areas of the body and the brain. They had to go to that extent to try to keep us in this oppression feeling, But in the oppression, you feel bad about everything. And so now this is lifting. And in the oppression, that's like kind of how we've taken on and blame. We've taken the blame ever since the Atlantean catastrophes, because it was technology we were working with that got misused. And we blamed ourselves. Maybe we did come and interfere and bring technology and advancement where it wasn't ready or welcome. We definitely have this thing we're working through supernova souls around non-interference. Because you're like, we don't even get to react at this point. We have to process our emotions, but it's like we have no choice. We cannot be in retribution and retaliation, because we'll just create more karma and we'll just get stuck here for longer. We have to be at peace. We have to be at love. We have to be at the power of these higher frequencies within our own being. That oppression is simply to keep us from knowing the level of joy and power and the power to create that we have within us, to co-create. And so this is what's being unleashed. No, now going back to that message, it got stolen, so it must be important, but there's this kind of false light. The oppression, the heavy energy is designed to get you to give up. What would you be giving up? Your body, your soul, everything you've worked for. I mean, we know we live without a body. We exist. Nothing can ever die. But you put a lot of work into sticking around for this body, which is perfect for you right now. And you deserve it. Okay, so there's the seductive energy of like, oh, it's spiritual ascension, go into the light. But if it's coming from this place of oppression, like, oh, just give up, give in to God, and it's like to get you out of the oppression feeling, then that's a trap, right? So we've got to take a hold of our lives and say, wait, this is being manufactured through technology, this oppression, infiltrating our field and our brain and with technologies and harmful uses of her wealth, resources, and technologies. I mean, is this why we feel so bad? Do we feel that we brought these technologies to Earth and then they got in the wrong hands and were misused for destruction and we're still trying to make it up for it? They did go through a lot of manipulation in all the Atlantean catastrophe readings I've seen, past lives. There was manipulation to get the people in charge and the scientists and this at the centers and stuff to take the blame, to think that they did something wrong. And really it was a weapon. Okay? And here we are being like, oh, we failed the earth and I did that wrong. Yes, there's a lot to correct within our being, but nothing like the horribleness that we've allowed to go on. And that's the correction we need to address right now. And maybe it has the boomerang of helping us step out of shame. But please understand that if you're feeling like you are being asked to sacrifice your body, any of your soul essence, any of your resources on any level, that is not true. We're putting ourselves back together in wholeness. We're claiming our abundance energetically, spiritually, physically. And so the oppression is created to try to get you to give up. And you made it this far. And I know that, I know you've made it through. We've all had these crazy experiences of what we've had to go through to consciously make the choice. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's part of why it's playing out. Because when it's so oppressive like that, and you know that everything is trying to get you to give up, and you don't, then you don't really have a choice around moving forward in your power and who you are and being visible and being seen as the visionary leader that you are. And so maybe it's easier to stay in the oppression than face the task ahead. But it's going to be so much better than everything we've gone through. So we need to just get over it and step into it and make the leap, right? This is the thing. Just don't miss this. Saturn moving over into Aries and this recapitulated thing. Step up to it. Rise. And the alignment in your life, and the focus and the dedication and the determination. If anything that you dreamed of is true, now is the time to hold on to it for dear life. You know, because you are the keeper of the dream. Your dreams are her dreams. She's got all of everything you've ever wanted recorded in her being, in her codes, her uncorruptible, uncorrupted, untouched codes, the Gaia codes, Mother Earth's codes in the primary waters, in the highest mountains, in the deepest caves, untouched, waiting for us to receive and be purified and renewed, to remember how much she loves us and how much we love her. And just get on with the celebration of co-creating this new world in alignment with that. And so thank you so much for being here. And hold on, this is such a wild ride. And you could have those moments of oppression, that grief, that guilt, that rage, but it will move quickly. So just be patient and use the tools you have to express, to exercise, to write or sing, do artwork, move your body, move the energy, because that's the main thing. All this timeline manipulation through time travel is created, and all of the energies of fear of the future, like the Armageddon that's coming, like every single day in the news, there's a new thing we have to be scared of happening, right? Is it planet Nibiru? Is it a pole shift? Is it a this or that? It's like, yeah, it's a pole shift. It's a pole shift back to Mother's dream and the geometry of the feminine. And that's just the way it is. And so here we are. But they have us constantly scared of the future, and then we can't plan anything. We can't dream and vision and create when you're just, waiting for the next disaster. And that catastrophe program is so old and so wrong. And we worked on that quite a bit in that Leo full moon activation and in the Owning Your Energetic Field. So I hope to see you on the next update, hopefully on the solar eclipse soul group session next Monday, the new moon activation next Sunday. And thank you so much for your presence, your energy, your donations, your time. And I appreciate you. I feel you. I love you. I hope you can feel that too. We're doing it, and we're all here, even though we are tricked into thinking that we're doing it alone. We're doing it together. So don't forget, and keep breathing. Mother Earth is almost like our higher self. And so when we're with her, we're with each other and our soul group. So I love you so much. I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you so much for being here, for going through all you've gone through, and for being a supernova soul on Earth. It's a glorious chapter that lies ahead. So just hold on, batten down the hatches. We're going through the eye of the storm to come out to the other side, the rainbow, and all possibilities of the alignment of what Mother Earth wants to be, her dream. This is the organic, original timeline reset, optimal. And yet we brought all this consciousness that we've explored through the journey into the depths and the darkness, that now our optimal timeline is like Technicolor dream, isn't it? Do you see it? Let's reach up, grab it, live it, own it. Yes, you're crazy to them, but you're totally normal to me and to us. And it's our world now. So let's go. Love you so much. I look forward to connecting with you soon. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.